everybody. I'm Olivia F. Scott, the creator of Freedom at the Mat, and I am so grateful to be in conversation today with a woman who is serious and intentional on creating rituals and using rituals to advance and improve our daily living. Her name is Nana Konamah, and she's here from the continent to talk to us about what tea drinking is all about, what the brewing of tea is all about, but what rituals, like that's just one symbol, one act of having a ritual. We're going to go into it with her. She's based in Ghana. She's an authentic lifestyle ambassador and a minimalist lifestyle connoisseur. Her passion is truly to help people, busy people, achieve their mind, body, and soul goals using natural ingredients in self-care rituals. And that is what has inspired her to create Pure Persona. Nana, are you here with us?
Hi, I'm here. Thank you so much for having me, Olivia.
It's such a blessing to have you. Thank you, sister. Thank you. So tell us where you are today.
Right now, I'm in Accra. I'm in Accra Central, my office. And just like any kind of busy city center, I don't know if you can hear the sirens going off.
I can.
I guess it's not unlike any sort of experience in like New York or London. I currently live in Accra, Ghana with my husband and our 2 children.
Wonderful. How old are your kids, by the way?
Right now, 3 and 1.5.
Okay, let me make this interview quick because you do not have a lot of time. Talk about busy women. I didn't know they were that young. Congratulations. And I want to talk to you today about how we establish rituals and the importance of establishing rituals. So I want to first start by asking you, did you have a personal experience that led you to create Pure Persona? And tell us what Pure Persona is as well.
Yeah, sure. So Pure Persona is a wellness lifestyle brand that I founded really to center African wellness rituals, African wellness, self-care rituals specifically. And what really led to me the inspiration behind starting Pure Persona, I first imagined Pure Persona as more like your typical hair care brand, skincare brand, and I launched it as such in 2020. And I had to take a break because I got pregnant with my first child. It was the middle of the pandemic, and I took a break from Pure Persona. And as I was getting ready to come back, I got pregnant with my second child. And through that process of sort of birthing the 2 babies, I took on a co-founder, and in our discussion, sort of like bouncing ideas off of each other. We were both new mothers, and we were getting used to our routines, our new life, having little children that we were had grown in our bodies and now supporting, and realized that self-care, like complete self-care, body head to toe self-care, was becoming more important for us, especially in our season as new moms. And so we birthed Pure Persona as a wellness lifestyle brand.
Very well. Thank you so much. You know what? I've never had children biologically. I've had a lot of them as students and nieces and nephews and godchildren. But the way you just said it, we were birthing these babies having these babies in our body and then birthing them, that really does create a whole new life experience for women. Yeah. And I love that you were so intentional about, okay, I'm the same person, but now I have this new life experience. I still need to make sure that I am making time for myself. So I want to go into the concept of rituals, right? It seems very central to Pure Persona tea. Can you elaborate for us on how teas are designed your teas in particular, are designed to incorporate ritual into everyday life?
Yeah, I think that one thing I noticed, both as like, a person like who exists in this world, also as a businesswoman and also as an African, was how little African self-care rituals were really on the map, on the stage. And as far as I'm concerned, the future of wellness is African. I have no doubt about that.
Mm.
And I really hope to make that true through Pure Persona. So, in researching the self care rituals of Ghana, of other parts of West Africa, of other parts of the continent, I started researching tea rituals in West Africa and found out that there are actually common tea rituals that exist in places across West Africa. But I was really inspired by tea rituals that you find in Senegal, Mali, places like that. And essentially, they have these wonderful tea rituals where you start out with something bitter, go to something neutral, and end with something sweet. And that's meant to be a metaphor for life, right? Upon discovering that, it went into an inspiration for our wonderful wellness teas. And I was like, well, is there a way this can all come together where we create teas that can easily fit into a wonderful tea ceremony and tea ritual that is African in its roots, but also create a product that was like very useful, right? Like the ritual is an important aspect of it, but was useful in multiple ways and multiple uses. Is this a tea you can drink? Is this a tea you can rinse your hair in? Is this a tea you can soak in? And that's really what fed into the product development for our line of wellness teas.
I want to go back to something else you said that I think is a beautiful statement. You said the future of wellness is African. What do you mean by that?
Oh gosh, I hope I have the words to fully articulate. If the future is African, owing by the fact that we have the youngest population, we have the largest number of women in business, women entrepreneurs, the highest amount percentage is typically found by percentages. Ghana, I think, is number two. Uganda is number one. You constantly find female entrepreneurs. You're constantly finding young people who are doing innovative things. If we're just taking it from a place, if we're just taking it from population alone, I think that the world's third act will be in the third world. The quote unquote third world. The world's third act will be in the world's third world because we're going to have the population and therefore the ideas and the force. We're already a force. I mean, we already impact so much of popular culture as we see it. And when I say the future of wellness is Africa, I mean Africa and the African diaspora. Just judging from the way we influence life already, it's not going to end, in my estimation, because the ingenuity, the innovation that I witness in Africa and across the diaspora is unlike anything I've seen before anywhere. This is no disrespect to anybody else's culture. I'm speaking of what I know, and what I know and what I've seen, and my experiences as an African and an African who's lived in the diaspora, who's now back. What I see is, a repositioning where Africa really is the center of the world. And I think it's very important that as we become the future, we're in control of the narrative and in control of the resources, for sure.
And so I want you to tell us, if you will, Nana, how do you see rituals contributing to the overall mental health and well-being, specifically of women? I just want you to elaborate more on the role of mindfulness relative to tea.
Yeah, sure. I've always been the kind of person who loved routine because of how it made me feel. And for many years, I didn't think there was any kind of connection to it. I just thought it was type A and OCD and just needed to experience life a certain way. Then I may always go back to having children because once I had my babies, then putting time aside for myself became even more critical. And I realized how much more I enjoyed time with children once I was giving myself that time and that space. What I love about routine and specifically ritual is the ability to always come back to the same thing, and you can almost measure how you are growing based on your rituals. Every time you come to it and how you approach your rituals and you create a mindfulness around it, you will find out that every time you come to it with a different way of doing things. And it's very telling. And it's very, it's like I run, and I don't really run for weight loss. I don't run for fitness.
Yep.
I don't run for physical fitness as much as I run for mental fitness. I really run for my mood. I run for mood, and I run for mental strength.
Correct.
Just giving myself that challenge every week. And I run because of how it makes me feel. Powerful, that I'm able, if I like start a run and I feel demotivated and deflated about my day, I have the motivation to continue. And it's all because I've created a ritual, a sense of ritual. It's not just a routine, it's a routine with a mind, body, soul connection that turns, I feel like a ritual is just is a routine with mind, body, soul connection. And so
Correct.
now, right, so this run,
Now that,
you
hold on,
know,
pause there, because that is a beautiful statement you just made, sister.
mhm,
I want you to write that down. That a
right,
ritual is a routine with a mind, body, and soul connection.
yes.
Definitely going to give you full attribution. I'm not going to take it and be like Olivia F. Scott. I'm going to give it to you. But that is beautiful. And I was going to ask you to that point, right? You're on a roll. I don't want to interrupt where you were going, but there's so many of us that are in routines that we could probably somehow turn into rituals, right? Do you have any advice, especially for busy women, your followers, our followers, who they need a deeper sense of connectivity to themselves? And, we all have the same 1,440 minutes in each day, the same, 24 hours. How would you recommend to someone who is living a very fast-paced life? They have children, they have a partner, they have a career, they might even have elder parents who are taken care of. How would you recommend to them to create rituals or to turn routines into rituals?
Um, I think the answer is a bit of a question. Like part of the answer is in the question. So if you want to start having rituals, then look at your routines and think about how you can make that a ritual. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, okay, well, I'm assuming most people take a shower every day in the morning, right? You might even decide that the way in which you start your shower becomes a mind, body, soul connection. So maybe you buy a special candle, you turn on that candle, you buy special products that you use during your shower time, and you use shower time as a period of reflection. You create a sense of mind, body, soul connection. I think that it's very important that we realize that our rituals are not that far off from us. That you can turn anything you do into a ritual, even your morning commute to work if you're driving or if you're taking public transport. You can make those routines into rituals by just asking yourself, number one, what is something I really, really do that brings me that sense of peace, that brings me that mind body connection? For me, definitely prayer, right? So I like outside time. I like going out for long walks or long runs. And so sometimes I will turn a walk into a prayer walk and just jot down 5 things I'm going to pray about. And on that walk, I'll begin to pray. So now this routine of an outside time, this routine of walking every morning has now become an important spiritual ritual for me that allows me to have that mind, body, soul connection.
I'm in love. And as you were speaking, I was thinking of something that I can begin doing immediately. And that's what I love about what you're espousing, Nana, is that it doesn't take a lot of money, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's that little mindset shift of how do I turn my routine into a ritual just by what I'm currently doing every day. And even as you were saying that, it's like we all shower, like you said, assuming let's do at least once a day.
Assuming.
Right, the assumption there. But the way that I can, there's a special treat in my bathroom that's like, it's a kind of, I won't say expensive, but it's, a higher end bath product. And I don't want to use it all the time. But if I can just take a little dollop of it, you know what I mean? Just to kind of have that treat and that be a part of my daily gift to myself, then I'm kind of stepping in that direction based on your recommendation.
And like you said, it is about that daily gift that you give to yourself. I had a friend, we went to university together. And before every shower, it took her forever to get dressed and it used to irritate me. And, so I started observing, and we actually lived together for a little bit. I started observing that before every shower, she had a way of doing it. She would turn on music, there'll be music in the background. Then she would painstakingly lay out every single thing she's going to wear after the shower. Her underwear, her bra, everything. Like she would it was a very slow process. It's like, girl, the reservation is 8, it's 7:15, and you're over here like laying every single thing out. She would lay out, every single thing, lay out her towel, lay out all the bath products she's going to use, and then go into the shower. And it used to irritate me because I was like, I get it if this is a routine on like a normal Saturday where like no one is waiting for us at the restaurant, but we literally have a reservation at 8 and it's like 7:30 and like, what is this, right? But now that I'm, but what that was this? Her taking, right, what is this?
Yeah.
That was she taking a routine and making it into a ritual. That painstaking, I'm going to pick out the prettiest underwear. I'm going to feel pretty. I'm going to say nice things about myself while I lay out my things. Like, ooh, this pop of yellow is going to look beautiful on my skin. I am blessed. I am favored. I am loved. I am seen. I am heard. And you're saying these things out as you're putting these items out, laying it all out piece by piece. Oh, yeah. A beautiful silk robe that's going to it's going to make it, it's going to feel good on my skin. And as you're doing it, you're speaking words of life, confessions of life into yourself. Just that process alone. I mean, if you can't do anything, you can say, okay, maybe Monday through Friday is hectic, but maybe Saturday and Sunday, just go through that process of laying out every single thing you're going to wear before you take a shower while making positive confessions over yourself. Right there, you've turned a shower into a ritual and created a mind-body-soul connection that's going to make you feel good. And when you feel good, you look good. So that's just,
No, I love it. I thank you for pouring into me, and I know you're going to pour in and bless many people when they watch this particular video. For you, so Pure Persona, right, offers, and I love the brand. I love your website. I love the intentionality. I love the beautiful complexion of the sisters on your So, but I want you to tell us a little bit more about Pure Persona as it relates to the creation of the blends. Is there an aspect of personalization for customers to find their perfect cup? How do you ensure, if you do, the quality and ethical practices for your teas?
When I finally was like, I'm going to relaunch Persona, and the first thing I'm going to launch with, first I was like, these are all the products I'm going to launch with. I wanted to do the teas plus a candle plus, it was like 2-3 other products I was throwing out. And I was looking at, but the timing and the budget didn't really allow for a lot of different products all at once. But God being so good, I have a personal relationship with an African tea mistress, somebody I knew who has her own tea brand but now has gone into making blends for other brands. Initially, I was just calling her to ask her, like, who are your suppliers? Can I work with them? That sort of thing. But as we were discussing, I realized I was like in over my head trying to like blend it. So she and I spoke extensively, back to back. We discussed the ingredients that exist in West Africa. We discussed how I wanted people to feel. We discussed like the outcome, one that's balancing, one that's energizing, and another that's calming. We talked and talked and talked and talked. One says, I've made your blends, I made your tea. And then we talked about sourcing. And so she used the same suppliers that I know that she'd used for her own brand, which I already knew that her tea brand was the highest quality tea brand I ever drank. It was based in South Africa. It still is, but she does it to a lesser extent. She does more work like the one that she does with me now. And I knew that she had a process for her ethical sourcing and quality sourcing process of it. So she was, okay, this is where we're going to get it from. These are their practices. This is what they believe. And I could trust her because she had already done it for her brand that was already very well known. And then what we did was that it was a combination of some of some of her suppliers on her side and the suppliers from Ghana. So I worked with, so what she did was that she designed, I guess, like the top. And the idea was that we would procure the base from Ghana. So most of the tea, the base would come from Ghana. So we needed suppliers for, we have a lemongrass based tea. We need a supplier for cacao husk, and we need a supplier for the Rosella hibiscus. So I had a mentor who happened to be very good friends with a lady who grows her own hibiscus and lemongrass at her own farm, processes it herself, and supplies to tea companies in Europe. And she was USDA organic certified already, US FDA certified, European certified as well for organic. And I could not, like, maybe another time we'll have a discussion about the importance of like mentors and guardians of your journey.
Guardians.
Oh my goodness. You never have a moment where you're like, when I started this process, I was like, where am I going to find someone who supplies all these organic teas? And literally, my mentor was like, I have your person. Spoke to her, went to her facilities, was able to inspect it myself. They have this facility, was really, and it all came together in ways that I know that like I'm God's favorite child because of how it all came together.
Always.
But there have been so many guardians in my journey, so many people just being there, right place, right time. Like I don't believe like it's by chance that we're in the right place at the right time. I stopped believing in coincidence a long time ago, and just accepting your things. But let me go back to your question. Just that process. So there is the very real admin, clerical or logistical skill set one needs to pull this off.
Yes.
But I think more important than that is to believe you can pull it off.
The mindset. The mindset.
I was open. Open and ready to receive. And every turn of the way, I was getting divine help all along the way.
Wow.
But I was ready for it.
Yeah.
I was ready for it because of what I wanted to do. But I knew that what I wanted to do was important to God, that He was going to orchestrate the coming together of this thing. And so I focused. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead. And so you focus on it. I was going somewhere with what you just said, but I want you to complete your thought. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, so I just hyper focused in on the fact that it was going to happen by hook or by crook. But that was also easier because I have mentors and guardians on my journey who would check back in to say, hey, how's our mindset doing? How are we doing with this? How are we doing with that? You know, so I think anything you build, prepare yourself skill wise to take on the task.
Yep.
But it's much more rewarding. It's much simpler to take on a hard task when you absolutely believe that it's for you.
Community seems to be really important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be a central part, a core value for your brand. Can you share how Pure Persona fosters that sense of connection and ritual amongst your customers?
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that we do is that we host African tea ceremonies, which we're going to actually have on our website as something that people can book themselves for their own circles and create their own circles with our tea ritual and our tea ceremony. We also foster this amongst our customers. We have a couple times a year, we have an event called Rise Together, which is, you know, a way to get our community together to be to come together to engage in wellness as a group. So we have group movement together, and we have a group. Last time we had a group visualization and breath work, and we ended it with an African tea ceremony. And the community that you build from that, right? Like connection to a shared idea. We're all living this like individual human experience, but it's so intertwined.
Yes.
And you know, as a child of this continent, right? As a child of this continent, this idea that like I exist because you exist, very much intertwined in just our sensibilities. So in South Africa, it's called Ubuntu, right? It's a very special sort of connection, a special sort of hospitality we give to one another. It's like, I see you. You are because I am because you are. We exist to see each other. And it wouldn't be an African wellness company or a company that centers African wellness rituals and practices if that collectiveness, that community aspect didn't make it in. It would be inauthentic, in my opinion.
I'd like you to end by sharing one nugget of wisdom that you would offer to a woman who is in need, desperate need of creating ritual, but who does not know how in the world that she can create it, who doesn't believe that she deserves it. What advice would you give to that woman right now?
Okay. Maybe I'll offer some advice on based on my own journey. In terms of believing you deserve it, I need you to understand how much of a lie it is to believe you don't deserve time or energy. Whatever or wherever that root of that lie comes from, I want you to stare at it and counter that with a practice of daily confessions. As I'm worthy, I am deserving. That's it. Those are two sentences you say to yourself whenever you say, do I even deserve this? Do I even have time to say, well, why not? I am worthy and I am deserving. The only way you're going to not think that we're going to get rid of that stream of consciousness is to replace it with another one. And the one we need to replace it with is the confession that I am worthy and I am deserving. So that's one. Start with your confessions. In terms of building a ritual, the first thing you need to do is start a confession that reconfirms within you that you are deserving. So that's the first one we're going to do, is the daily confession that I am deserving, and I am worthy. If you need to write that on your bathroom mirror, have reminders on your house and post-it notes, I will go ahead and do that. I have done that many, many times. I've written I am enough all over my house. I have written it on my mirror because I know that I need to listen to it. I've also recorded myself making positive confessions, and I've listened to that all day, all morning as a morning ritual, just to reset my mind on the good things. So that's number one. Number two, I would suggest finding something that you already do that helps you feel balanced and connected, and begin to be intentional with the steps you take towards experiencing that thing. I told you about how my friend, before every shower, would just take her time to lay out everything she was going to wear. If that sounds like something you could do, maybe do that and add your confessions to it of I am worthy. You will begin to make sort of like a brain-heart connection with that, and that mind-body connection. Before you don't have to say it as much because you just believe it, right? So I say that in terms of ritual, take your routines and slow them down a bit, break down the steps, and insert the things that make you feel whole. Even if it's your morning commute to work, all right, maybe use that time as a means of connection. So if your morning commute is 30 minutes, dedicate 10 minutes to just your confessions. If you want to light a candle before your shower, that's what you need to do. But take the things you already do, break down the steps, slow them down, replace or insert actions that help you feel more balanced, and start there.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you so very much. I invite everybody to make sure that they visit purepersona.com and also check out, right, on Instagram, Nana Konamah as well. Get more gems from her, learn more about her amazing products. They have more than just teas as well. So at Freedom at the Mat, we are all about making sure that we're providing an abundance of ways that women can find their wellness. We hope that today's segment and wonderful conversation with Nana Konamah has been inspiring to you, and it shows you how accessible wellness really can be. So check us out for more, freedomatthemat.com. Thank you so much for your time today. Ashe.